Is what the heck, man? I was texting you nonstop. There was a freaking discount for Fallout on Steam.
Oh, dude, no worries. I'll just get it now. It's okay. So Fallout, all right. Fallout 76. It's $40.
It, it was
That's a
it was
steal.
$10 earlier.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean when the show was out?
Yes,
Look, I
bro.
didn't know that it was gonna happen. I mean, like, it's $40 now. Should I get it? I mean, it's kind of expensive.
No, no,
No,
no. Don't. You know what?
what?
I'm done
But
with you.
I
I'm,
could
I'm
just
done.
hello, Leo, Leo. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Volume Podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about the TV series Fallout Boy. No, I'm just kidding. Fallout the series. You guys know it's on Amazon. Sit back, relax, turn it to 11.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So, like Izzy is just talked about, we're going to be talking about Fallout based off of the game, sort of.
A little bit.
Same world. But yeah, I mean, we got ourselves here a fantastic show, in my opinion. I don't know how Fallout fans felt about it, but I thought it was pretty good. But to start off, the creators are Geneva Robinson. Oh, you gave me a hard one today. Dwart and Graham Wagner. I think I said the second one right. Sorry, Geneva, if I jacked up your name.
Could be Geneva.
But you know what? It probably is Geneva. I'm dyslexic. And we also have Ella Prunell.
Purnell.
I'm so
Ella
sorry,
Purnell.
people. I'm so sorry. Ella Prunell playing Lucy. Aaron Moten playing Maximus, and I hope I can say his name because I mean, who doesn't enjoy him in a good show / movie? Walton, Googins. I'm gonna say it's Goggins.
Goggins?
as the Ghoul / Cooper Howard. So yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Sorry, I definitely needed you to intro that because I was like looking at these words. I was like,
if somebody's gonna get sabotaged by it, it's not gonna be his. We already know Leo can't do it. Oh man. Once I looked at them, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna jack up a bunch of these names," but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I tried my best, but let's get to it.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know what Fallout is about, it is about the end of the world after a nuclear explosion or nuclear war. I'm not really sure how it really worked, but I think it was a nuclear war that occurs, and that takes out pretty much the entire planet in the process. And then there are people who live underground in vaults, right? So I guess a little bit more backstory. If you know anything about the 50s, was it the 50s and 60s, right? The Cold War kind of era. You had a lot of bunker people, right? People were building bunkers in their homes because they were waiting for the USSR to drop nukes on America and end the world, right?
Yep.
Which never ended up happening, thank goodness. But in this version of the world, that did happen. Although I don't know if it was the USSR who caused the explosions. I can't remember that part. But there are people who built these huge bunkers, right, which were called vaults. And so you have the privilege who ended up going into the vaults, and then everybody else was screwed and left to their own demise to survive the nuclear radiation / explosions that were occurring on the surface. And
Yes.
so as time went by, I think 200 years goes by. And so this show is based 200 years after the explosions, although they do a few little recaps to the past to connect some dots, which is crazy to me. There is some crazy stuff happening, and I'm just like, yo, people are twisted. But yeah, so we follow the main character, who is Lucy, and she is in Vault 33. And we follow her story as she her father gets kidnapped, gets taken to the surface, and she goes and tries to go get her father back
But yeah,
in the
and her whole
process.
vault gets raided by.
Oh yeah. There's people
Yeah.
called the Raiders, and they
Yeah.
not the Las Vegas Raiders. They're a completely different group of
Yeah.
people.
NFL. Yeah. Different vault.
Different vault. But yeah, so yeah, they get raided and all this stuff, and you have to understand that at least Vault 33, they're a very naive group of people.
Yes.
They don't know much of the outside world. They think they live in Kumbaya world, and everybody lives in harmony, and
yeah, and they're doing the world a favor. At least that's what they feel like they're doing.
Yeah. No, 100%. And they're waiting, right? They've been told since the beginning, since their parents and their parents' parents and their parents, for generations now, that they're waiting for the day that the radiation is low enough or gone, so that they can once again resurface and start populating the planet again. And until then, they're living in these vaults, and each vault has a specific job that they do, right? And I think they're farmers for corn or potatoes, one of those two. I think it's potatoes. That's what Vault 33's job was growing. I want to say it was potatoes, but I could be wrong. But yeah, because they're like, I think they were like middle of Idaho. Like that was their kind of like scene.
I thought it was Nebraska.
Was it Nebraska?
It could be both.
It could have been. Somewhere in that
the
farmland. Forgive us, Nebraskans, and Idahoans. I don't think that's the right way of saying
Idahoans.
Yeah,
Idahoans.
You know who has one of the coolest? Wisconsin people, because they're Wisconsinites. That's a pretty. That's dope. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a cool name. We're just Nevadans.
They definitely. We're.
But yeah, so yeah, we follow her, and then on the other side we have Maximus, who is a grunt, pretty much, who is part of the Brotherhood of Steel, and they are some kind of like military force that is trying to keep the world at peace, right? Or keep it in order at least. But as we know about anybody who has power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so, although not everybody of the Brotherhood of Steel are corrupt, there is that level of like arrogance that comes with them, because like, yeah, we're the, we fight for justice and all this, but sometimes they don't. And so, but he's a grunt, and he is trying to become what are they called? A knight, yeah. Which are if you play the game, all those Fallout fans out there, if you play the game, the knights are the people who wear the steel armored like mecha suits.
Yeah. Right. By the way, guys, I have not played Fallout.
Neither have I. And I wish I did. I wish I did. I wish I, if Iz hit me up with that text message, he would have.
All right.
But I'm sure. And for those of you who are Fallout fans and who have played all of them, I know there are some bad ones out there. But when you have 20 games, some of them have to come out kind of crappy. But I'm sure there are plenty of Easter eggs in the show that only Fallout players would have just enjoyed. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't play Fallout because I couldn't appreciate all those. Although I did watch some TikToks about people talking about some of the Easter eggs and the show, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah. I know that Fallout had a lot to do with like the post-apocalyptic, theme. So I was pretty excited to see that there was a series coming out. But I'm like, I've never played the game, so I don't know how excited I'd be about it. And I was actually pretty happy with how it turned out. I mean, the first episode, I was just like, wow, this is really cool. Like the suits are really nice. It doesn't look fake or anything like that. Almost looks too real. Like I kind of wish that they had that energy when they made the first X-Men movie. Instead of it making everybody in like black leather, which they bring up apparently in X-Men 97. And if they had Wolverine in yellow, like they're gonna have in the Deadpool film, like life would have been cool. I'm just saying. But they did it in Fallout, and every time I want to say Fallout, I want to say Fallout Boy, which is a band for the young generation that doesn't know. but I'm pretty sure
Great
they're
band.
still active. Amazing band.
They're real good.
Yes, and anyway, I was about to go more into Fallout Boy,
The
but
Fall Out Boys.
yeah, the Fallout Boys. Yeah, the series I thought was really good. I forgot that Ella Purnell was in the zombie movie that was made here in Vegas. I think it was like Day of the Dead or Dead Rising.
The one that they had the prequel to
Yeah, the Lock one.
with Dave Bautista, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I forget the name of that series.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. There you go.
I think that's what it was called. Army of the
Mhm.
Dead.
Yeah, and that series, she was the daughter. She was Dave Bautista's daughter,
Oh wow.
and I'm all like, oh, that's why she looked familiar. I had no idea who she was, and she was also in another. I think they said that she was in another film that was based off of a video game, and I'm all like, okay, who exactly is this woman, right? Like, I'm trying to remember what series I've seen with her face, but it wasn't her face that was in it. It was her voice. She was in Arcade.
I would have not got that.
She's what was that? That's a LOL or League of Legends series.
Yeah.
And I believe
That's crazy.
Did we go over that? Did we go over that series? Of how much
Mm.
I despise Powder.
Okay, I was about to say if you were about to say you despise the show, you got problems, bro.
Oh no, I love that show. That show was great.
The show was a work of art. It was fantastic.
Nah, but I mean, I didn't like the character, which made the show great. I'm not gonna lie. Powder then becomes that blue haired Jinx. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that too.
Although they're supposed to be coming out with a season 2 of that show.
Yeah, but I believe COVID stopped that. I believe, or prolonged
they
it.
gotta just COVID is
It's
over.
animation. You know what I'm
most part.
saying? They
Yeah,
can do it at
you
home
from
these
home.
days. Oh, thank you. Look at us.
I edit my stuff from home. You
Right?
guys love it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just
What
kidding. You guys,
Well, okay. So as far as the impression of the series, I did like Lucy's character because she was just so delusional about the world. You know, she lived in this cookie cutter lifestyle, and she just thought everybody was the same. Except for her desire for coitus. When she saw the man that she was about to marry, she went feral, which is funny because I'm just all like, okay, I guess that's strong in this vault, right? And then there was a raid, and then to her knowledge, that was like out of the ordinary. And I'm just like, I was like, I'm pretty sure you know these exist if you have TV down here. You know what I mean? I was like, altercations happen, you know? And, you know, she goes out and she sees the world and she's just surprised and she has to like rough it, drink some nasty water, live in not so good conditions.
radioactive water, yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then I was like, get it. And then you have Maximus, by the way, like Powder, I despise this character.
Maximus?
Maximus, yeah. The guy, not the actor.
The character Maximus.
Mm-hmm. The actor did a great job at making me not like Maximus. Maximus, he reminded me of those guys that would snitch on you to save himself because, provided that there was a better solution in front of him, but because he wasn't too quick to pick it up, he wasn't able to do it, which at the end, I'm like, oh, maybe he's just not that educated in compassion.
Yeah.
But whatever the case is, I despised him. And when in the series, by the way, spoilers, I mean, we're probably 10 minutes into this, or not even, probably like 10 minutes into this. There will be spoilers, and a lot of it will be like me dogging on Maximus. So when his friend Dane gets cut up in the leg or whatnot, he has to all of a sudden, he gets in trouble. He's like, oh, you got to go instead. And all this other stuff. He got in trouble for some reason. And so for a good solid minute, I was like, I don't think he would do that. But his character, the way that he brought himself about, he rarely spoke up. He didn't say much.
Yeah.
I'll just say, well, if you're not going to speak your piece, I'm going to assume it was you because you have that look of jealousy. Like he hated cleaning the toilets. He's like, I don't need to be here. I'm better than this. Yeah, I remember he had to go clean the toilets because he got.
No. I mean, wouldn't you hate cleaning those toilets?
I would.
That was nasty.
But I mean, it's just a job, right? It's a job that I'm supposed to do.
I don't know if I could, bro.
But he also got bullied too.
Yeah,
he got bullied by Thaddeus and the homies.
Thaddeus. I like how they all have these like Roman names.
Yeah,
Thaddeus, Maximus.
Mm-hmm. But then there's Dane. Unless it was pronounced Dane. Dane, which would be like what in Japanese. But,
I don't think that's what it is, though.
No. But then, so you kind of feel bad for him, right? His situation is pretty terrible. He got a clean poop. He's getting bullied. And he's his closest friend's about to go become closer to being a knight. And that's the whole reason why Maximus is there, is to be a knight.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess why I didn't like him was because his integrity was very low and his drive was also very low, but he wanted everything to happen for him. And when things did happen for him, they didn't make sense to him as to why it's happening. And he's all like, maybe this is what should happen. And then things just went the way it did.
Happened?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this guy. But Maximus was not my favorite.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. There were points in Maximus, I'm like, bro, you are sketch.
Yeah.
Or as the young kids say, although I started hearing this way before the kids use it today, but it's like, you sus. You sus, bro.
Yep. Facts.
But, no.
Facts.
Oh man. But yeah, no, there was definitely, I definitely thought that Maximus is the one who put the blades in Dane's boots.
Right.
So I was like, oh, you did this, bro.
Yeah,
how can this your friend protects you from the bullies and you go and cut up their freaking Achilles and all that? Like, nah, man, you messed up. So I definitely thought he was capable of doing stuff like that because he always acted that way, right? He was. Right. I agree. He was very sus all the time. He never spoke up when like trying to defend himself or whatever, or he just kind of like used it to his advantage, right? Because that's what he did. And I mean, we find out later in the show that Maximus did not put the blades in Dane's boot. Dane put the blades in his own boots, right? Because he was scared of being a squire. He didn't want to actually leave. So, and I'm like, oh, I feel bad. My bad, Maximus. But by that time, I liked Maximus. I'm like, okay, he kind of grew on you a little bit. You know, he was actually becoming more.
He was supposed to grow on me. I feel like he was supposed to. This season,
but you were concrete with him.
I followed him all the way through. I followed him. I was like, come on, bro. And it wasn't until he got back to the camp that I was like, okay. All right. But
you redeemed yourself?
He redeemed just a little bit. But I mean, like, what he did with Knight Titus. Now, Knight Titus was a jerk. Okay. Granted, he was played by Michael Rappaport, which is awesome. I like that guy. Knight Titus was a jerk to Maximus. And Maximus was slow with it, like responding, and just wasn't really communicating enough with the Knight. And the Knight was just like, come on, bro. You know, like this is happening. And granted, the Knight was scared when they met up with that one monster thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm all like,
the mutated bear.
Yeah. And I'm all like, and then Maximus is now watching him die. So, and oh, by the way, that scene almost put the coffin or the nail on the coffin when I thought maybe he's the one that, you know, got his friend in the situation he was in. You know what I mean?
Like you were gonna stop watching it?
No, I wasn't gonna stop watching it, but I'm pretty sure that I was like, oh, yep, he's the one that sabotaged Dane's boots.
Oh, I see what he's doing.
Like Titus. Yeah.
It's like he has no integrity, no honor,
none. And I was just like, you're no knight. I was like, you're supposed to be cool. I was like, and
brave,
yeah,
brave, and just like willing to. And he was the complete opposite the whole time. the whole time. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Super, and yeah, he was pretty weak outside of the suit too. Like, remember when those guys were going to steal the suit right after he got out because they needed to repair it, and he lost to them. I was like, "Oh snap! Is he about to fight like for real?" No, I was like, "These are just regular people."
Well, I mean, he did hold his own for a second, but there's like 4 of them.
That's true.
There's like 4 of them. It's
trained
kind of hard.
You assume like he's military trained, right?
True. You would think he'd be able to fight off 4 guys.
4 citizens, but then again, they live in a post-apocalyptic world where it's it's dog eat
kill or
dog
be
world.
killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
I was trying to figure out the words.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, Maximus, I agree. But like I said, I think he grew on me because he did like redeem himself as time went by, especially after that the like closer to the end where he grabs the head and he tells Thaddeus to run away because he's becoming a ghoul. By the way, for those of you who don't know and who have not watched this, in this world there are these mutated humans that are called ghouls. And when and what happens is you get enough radiation on you that you start to mutate and lose your mind in the process. And so, but you could take this drug. I don't know what the drug is. I don't know if they ever specified it. I'm pretty sure it's specified in the game. But
it looked like Red Bull. Yeah,
yeah, it kind of did. But you take it and it like keeps you more human, I guess, for longer. Yeah. Like it just keeps you sanity there. So the third main character, who is Cooper Howard, or the Ghoul, right, played by Walton Goggins, I think, right? He's the third main person in this, and he's a ghoul, and he's over 200 years old. Okay, he was there before. He was like a famous movie star during the 50s, or I think it was like the 50s, right? During the 50s. By the way, also this world isn't our world. It's split off from our reality when they figured out some kind of fusion. Like it was some kind of energy source.
Wasn't it called cold fusion? Or was that what it was called?
Yeah, I think it might have been. I can't remember, but they found some kind of they found some kind of energy, and from that moment it split pretty much from our world, so they became a whole different thing. Because I was like, man, like for a world that is super advanced in technology in the sense of like what we're seeing from the future, and that's saying not much. It's like, why is it all so old? Like the computers are really old. TVs. I mean, you have robots. The TVs are old. You have robots, but the robots look like they're from the 50s. It's like all this stuff. But that's when the nuclear explosions occurred. So it stems from there. That's why time froze pretty much from that moment on, aesthetically. But so, you have Cooper, who is from that time period. And he now is a ghoul, and he is a manhunter / bounty hunter. I would say manhunter is what he is, right? But he's like really sane. He stays sane for the most part because he's always taking that drug or whatever it is. Oh, your lights just turned green. Ghoul green, if I may add.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so I thought I enjoyed his character a lot, even though you got that magic touch. His character was a lot of fun for me, even though he was kind of the antagonist in some ways. He was an interesting character. I enjoyed it, and Lucy also. I thought Lucy's character was fantastic. She started off as this naive girl who thought like we could just all get along. To like, okay, she didn't lose her innocence per se. She just realized that the world is a lot more aggressive and dangerous than it was led to be. And so she adapted to it, but she never lost the heart that is hers, right? She still was kind and thoughtful and wanting to help people, but she was willing to now shoot you in the face if she needed to. And unlike Maximus, although I don't think we saw a lot of it, which is kind of a bummer. Unlike Maximus, Lucy did know how to fight, right? She took martial arts while in the camp, which is interesting for a place that was like very kumbaya-ish. They did learn how to fight in the vaults.
Yeah.
So she was pretty good at fighting and pretty good at shooting.
Top of her class.
Yeah,
She was I forgot about that. She was number one in everything. She excelled in athletics,
always.
in
Yep.
sports, in everything that she did. She did great.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I'll just say, wow, she was like a specimen, so to speak. So it was, and oh yeah, speaking of, with her adapting, and then she meets Maximus. Now, me and I was thinking with her and Maximus together, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. Like, she's gonna have access to the night suit. I was like, maybe she'll go in there because that's a very dangerous combo. Not gonna lie, you know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, that would be crazy.
But then again, Maximus is who he was, and I was like, that's never gonna happen. And the only way that could happen is if she could fit in there, which I don't think she could. But you had to be a certain weight and height. I think there was like a whole thing about it because I think Thaddeus was going to steal it, right? Wasn't he going to steal it? I forget.
The suit?
Yeah, but
Um,
man, when Thaddeus, when he got ghouled, so to speak, that one crazy guy, when he injected him with that ghoul thing.
Oh yeah.
Because his leg was jacked up, right?
Yeah.
And so when he got shot with an arrow through the neck and he wasn't dying, he's like, "Yo, bro, get out of here, dog.
Yeah.
Go."
Yeah, when he got ejected, I'm like, oh, that's not a good thing. I don't think you get, because he got ejected and he got healed. His foot like literally realigned itself and got healed in like instantly. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I mean, great, your foot is now intact again and not hanging off your leg, but that's bad. And then when you got shot through the neck, I'm like, he's a ghoul now, huh? But yeah, no, 100%. I thought that was crazy. The show was so good. The show was so good for the reason that there was like these twists and turns that I didn't expect to happen, right? Because definitely, like I said, the show does a lot of like back and forth where it'll go to the present, right, which is the time period that we're following, and then sometimes they'll go back in time to before the nuclear explosion, so Cooper is alive, and it's kind of from Cooper's perspective, and his wife was part of the group, part of the what were they called? I can't remember the company's name.
Which group?
The company that made the company that makes the vaults. I can't think of the name, but she was part of the group, and not only is she part of it, but she was like an integral part. Integral. Thank you, integral.
Yeah.
Wow, a difficult word for me. An integral part of the organization, and you come to find out his wife was kind of messed up. She was not.
Yeah,
she
bro.
was. Yeah, she was not for it. Not for it at all. She was like, oh, we should do this and that, and like, and pretty much the fear was that only the rich were going to be able to get into the vaults, right? And then the common person, or the person who had they were people that could not help society move forward, right? Had no chance, right? So if you weren't something like a doctor, let's say, or an engineer or something, and
Right.
from that, like a perspective that would help civilization continue to grow after the fallout, they wouldn't be part of it. And so Cooper didn't want to believe that, obviously, because he's like, my wife wouldn't do that. It's all about saving as many people as possible, but obviously that's not the case. And if you play the game, I know this much from the TikToks that I've watched. If you play the game, the vaults were horrible things. Like a lot of vaults, they weren't just a place for safety. Some of these vaults were used for experiments, for like not only like just a horrible thing. Like experience was one of the biggest things that I noticed. Like, oh, this vault experiments to see how crazy people can get if you do this kind of torture to them, or in this one does like gene manipulation and stuff. Like all these things are or imprisoning people, enslaving people. Like it was a bunch of stuff that were happening in these vaults, and every vault had a different job, right? Like I said, and Vault 33 was probably one of the more normal ones. I don't know how many vaults there are. If anybody knows, you can shout it out in the messages below. But Vault 33 was apparently more of a farming vault. They their job was to vote, and the vaults were connected by like a trios, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was three vaults connected to each other. So you had Vault 31, 32, and 33. They were a family, kind of together, and that they were supposed to interact with each other to make sure that whatever needed to happen happened. And so 33 was in charge of that. I think 32 was supposed to be a also a farming vault.
Mm-hmm.
And then 31, you don't really know what 31 does, but you do start realizing that out of 31, right, you get whenever they bring a new person into 33, because sometimes they would marry somebody from a different vault, and they would bring that person over to 33, and this Lucy's brother, who is what's his name?
Oh,
Where's his
Norm?
name? Norm, played by Moises or Moses,
Moises?
however you want to say.
Yeah.
But Norm, who is her younger brother, he's kind of like this. How do you explain who Norm is?
He was like
He's
a better version of Maximus.
Definitely, for sure. I think he redeemed himself way more, right? He's also like a coward at the beginning. You can kind of see that, but he's not scared. He's not scared
And he's not
of
stupid.
crossing lines. No, and even though he's a coward, I would say that the Vault Tech, that's what the company's name was.
I thought it was gonna be Acme, but I was like, maybe that's just
Acme. Oh, yeah. But yeah, he was kind of like devious, and he never trusted anybody. He was very like skeptical of everything, and he never wanted to participate.
Kept himself
right.
away.
He was definitely like the black sheep of the vault.
Mhm.
But he once his sister left, because he wanted to go with her, but once his sister left, he kind of stayed. But he's like, nah, there's something weird going on here.
Mhm.
This is super weird. And he eventually gets to Vault 32, which is where the Raiders came from. And they're like, what the heck is going on? And then when he goes in there, and Vault 32 is dead.
Yeah.
There's nobody in there.
Dead. Yeah.
Their crops are dead.
People are dead.
People have been dead for a while. Like everything is destroyed. He's like, what is going on here? It's like, and then like he goes to the vault that connects 32 to 31, and like there's dead people trying to get into 31. You're just kind of left like, what in the world is happening? And why are all these people dead? So it's really like the twists and turns are fantastic. You come to find out that practically everybody who's ever come into 33 has come from 32, and they've always been in charge. They somehow become like the leader of 33, and you see that there's all these connections, and it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. Watch it for sure, 100%. Like I said, there's a lot of twists. There's twists not only there, but also with Lucy's dad, right, Hank.
Oh man, his twist is crazy.
Crazy.
I mean,
right?
You would think that Moldaver, who was the chick that everybody's looking for in the beginning, like you would think that person was like this evil raider person because she was there.
Oh yeah,
in the vault.
Right.
But man, I mean, she's the one that kidnapped the dad and everything. And it was such a crazy. Yeah, Hank's twist was probably the craziest because of Cooper. When Cooper's all like,
right,
where's my family? I was like, huh? How does Hank know your family from 200 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, it's another thing about the timeline. Excuse me. So when Maximus brought Lucy to a familiar area, it was his old hometown. It was like that. It was like I forgot the name of the town. It was, but it blew up essentially, and and he was very human. He wasn't a ghoul, and he said, "Yeah, no, this happened 9 years ago or 11 years ago." And Lucy looks at him like, "No, this happened 200 years ago." He's like, "Nah, this happened when I was a kid." I was like, "I'm not that much older than him." He's like, "I'm not 200 years old. I'm not a ghoul or anything like that." And I'm just all like, "Whoa!" So when are these things happening? And then when you see that Barb Howard, Cooper's wife, was a part of this, then you start to kind of piece things together. I was like, "Wait a minute." So if she did that 200 years ago, if they did 200 years ago, then this was recent. and it was by the same people that made the decision to do it themselves so long
Yep.
ago. So I'm
Yep.
thinking, oh snap, because they got close to a regular civilization. They're like, nah, because I guess they was it 22,000 people, 10,000, 10, 20.
Something like
That
that.
was their that was the population mass at the time, and then they just dropped another bomb on there. That is the craziest thing. And Maximus was in a refrigerator, and to Lucy's mind, she's like, that's impossible. But to Maximus, she's like, that's his very reality. Like that was one of the coolest things about this show was people living in different realities. Lucy was so
Yeah.
fixated on her lifestyle that she's like trying to push her own views onto these people that have no idea what she's talking about or how that even feels. They don't
Yeah.
know how it feels to drink clean water. They don't know how it feels to not be near radiation. I'm pretty sure like there's pockets of the earth that they're not supposed to stand next to. You know what I mean? Which makes
Yeah.
the show even better, like writing wise, and that's why like I'm like I understand the show as as a series, but I don't understand the show as the game. So I guess me not playing it kind of sets a different tone for this. It'd be like me being Max or not Maximus. It'd be like me, like Lucy, having this understanding of the world, while people who play the game are more like Maximus who live it. So at least that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, definitely when he explained that, right? And by the way, the town was called Shady Sands, the town
Oh,
that blew up,
okay.
right? It's definitely interesting because I was also like, wait, how is Maximus alive during like the bombing of Shady Sands when this happened 200 years ago? I'm like, somebody here is lying.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm like, have the people in the vault just been miscalculating how time moves? Is there like some kind of weird situation with the time like line in the vault that it moves slower than reality? I
Mhm.
was so confused what was going on. And then yeah, you come to find out is Shady Sands was a civilization that began to succeed after the explosion that happened 200 years ago and then got bombed again. So it's like, and you're just kind of left with what in the world, it's like, I can't remember if they explained it in the show or not, but it's like who and why, what was the purpose behind destroying Shady Sands, right? Other than reverting back to a time where people still need to continue to grow bigger, right? Because or like to grow to what's the word I'm looking for? Develop, advance in technology and society again, right? So yeah, super interesting. Had me confused though. There were, like I said,
Yeah.
those twists and turns were crazy. Yeah. So here's the question: did you enjoy the ending? Did you like how it ended? Because uh,
Mm.
I didn't.
To be honest, I believe that since they only had 8 episodes, I knew they were going to make more seasons. So
I hope
I
they do.
forgave the ending. Although the ending, like, I was just like, well, this doesn't give me much. However, I did not like the fact that I didn't Moldaver die? She died, right?
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
Yeah.
she did.
And I was just like, yo, if that drug can make your sanity go back, like, can't Lucy like help out her mom? You know what I mean?
That's true.
But then
That's
again,
true.
I'm pretty sure Moldaver would have been able to do because she got mad bottle caps, and that was the currency in the show, which is
That
hilarious.
was another thing. I thought that was interesting. Bottle caps being the currency.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that's the big thing in the game as well, but I'm like, why bottle caps? That's such a
Mhm.
weird thing. I guess. Well, you know what? I'm guessing in the 50s, the biggest form of soda came in glass bottles with bottle caps on them, and not cans.
Yeah,
So bottle caps were in abundance.
yeah. Not only soda, also beer.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that a lot of the things that was going on the surface was kind of like wild to me because everybody on the surface knew about the vaults. Like, oh, it's a vaulter, or it's the
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm all like, so you guys all know about it? They're like, yeah, we couldn't get it. And the way that Barb and Cooper were talking about it, pre-apocalypse, she's like, we got to buy one before it knocks down. We have to get one. And then Barb got more suspicious as she got more desperate in Cooper buying a new place. Like, buy a place for us so we can, so we can be safe because I'm about to do some wreckage, And I was just like, dang. I was like, dang, Auntie crazy. And
that was the biggest, one of the biggest twists. I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the biggest twists, right? You sit there going the whole time like, who bombed? Like I said it at the beginning, and I honestly forgot.
Yep.
Like who bombed the people, the United States, right? Was it Russia? Was it who? No, it was Voltec,
Yep.
right? Which makes complete sense. How they're selling all these vaults, and they're probably millions of dollars to build, right? So it's like we kind of need that money. There's only one way to make sure that money gets really right. Fear is what drives people, and then, well, once they have it and nothing happens, they're going to be real upset.
Right.
So what do we have to do? That's why, like Barbara.
Dang, you use her full name.
You crazy.
Use her full name.
You crazy.
Yeah, and
you crazy.
What's funny is that
killing all those
tapped
people.
into his wife's conversation, and he's like, "Come on, tell him, babe. Tell him this is wrong." And she's all like, "Da da da." He's like, "Yep." She's saying all the right things, and she's like, "But what?" And then she gets like some kind of like signal from some shady or silhouette in the distance, and he goes, "What if we drop it on us on them ourselves?" And Cooper's like, and I'm like, that's your wife. she got you and your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I was like, but he was a TV star, so he obviously loves his fans and all that stuff.
Well, and not only that, like it's interesting because you look at the Ghoul, and the Ghoul is not a good guy. He's not a good person, right? He's out for himself. He's definitely making sure you could always get the drug because he doesn't want to turn full Ghoul. But he's definitely like the anti-hero, if you want to even call him that, right? But it's interesting because you see him before, and he's a good person. He is a good person. He's a movie star, but he's humble about his stuff. Well, for the most part, not super humble, but he's not like. He's not super arrogant about being a movie star, and he's like, he's not for it. He's not for what his wife is wanting to do. So yeah, once he finds out his wife is trying to just take out half the planet, he's like, oh, I married a crazy woman. That's what I did. Yeah. Apparently.
And speaking of, in the beginning of the movie or series, they are doing a birthday party. And the parent or the dad is like ridiculing the guy, Cooper, because he's all like, he's washed up. Apparently he's a washed up actor. Because I guess they had divorced before they dropped the bomb.
Yeah.
However, what happened to the daughter? Because we don't see her at all, and we don't see Barb, but we know she's probably going to be all right. Until we see Hank going to where? Where is he going? Las Vegas, baby.
Yeah,
we live here. Happens. So that's why I brought it up, y'all.
We have a nuclear waste mountain.
We do. We're very close to Nuketown as well.
Yeah, we really.
If you play Black Ops or Call of Duty, I don't know which one came on first, but whatever the case is. Vegas is where their next season will probably start off. It'd be funny if they start off in a train station with slots, because that'd be very Vegas-like.
Yeah,
with like a random gift shop with slots in it. Like if you want to make it Vegas,
and then bottle caps come out.
Yeah. Oh, you put bottle caps in for it to play. Like how you would orders, dude. Vegas, baby.
Yeah.
And so that
Um.
that part kind of tripped me out when he's like, "Where's my family?" to Hank, and Hank took
Well.
the night suit, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. Hank was in a night suit.
Yes. Yes. He did. He did. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're
He
right.
took
Yeah, he did.
Maximus's one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Or not Maximus's, well,
Yeah.
Titus's one, I guess.
It's Maximus's now. Well, I guess now it's Hank's, but
Yeah.
no, but he did. Well, and so about that ending though, like I didn't like it because of how it ended. Obviously, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger, but
Yeah.
it does make sense because they're good. Hopefully, I can't remember if I saw or did see that they're going to make a part like a second
Mhm.
season. Hopefully they do if they haven't decided that
Yeah.
yet. Because if you just end it like that, it's kind of bum. And I think it was a bigger success than most people probably realize it might have been. So hopefully they do that. But on top of it, I am interested to see how the dynamic, because Lucy went with the ghoul, right, with Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
They left together, and Maximus is the one who is what's the word I'm looking for? Like yeah, for giving the what's the word? The credit. Credit.
Yeah.
That's the word I'm looking for. Giving the credit for killing Moldiver. Yeah. So I mean, he's gonna get some kind of. If he's not a knight now, he's definitely gonna be a knight.
Yeah.
Here in a moment.
If not a knight, a bishop or something. You know what I mean?
Something.
Or maybe a queen.
High up there.
Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they have that yet.
I mean, I feel like it's like a chessboard for them. You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
they're not called pawns though; they're called squires.
He could be part of the round table.
Well, or maybe oval, because it's a video game.
You're right.
Well,
but I wanted to see how that's gonna go. Like, is that gonna feed into his ego? Because he seems like a guy who wants that, right? He wants the recognition of being this, like a knight.
That's a good
question. I wonder if how that's gonna affect his ego, or is he gonna try to look for Lucy and help, or does he feel betrayed because Lucy left with Cooper? All questions.
I'm pretty sure he got knocked out though.
He did.
He got knocked out.
But she left him behind.
Yeah, she definitely left him behind. And it's not because she left him behind because they were separated before they got there. Remember, they met up there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, they're still friends. I think they're about to do the deed in Vault 4. She's like, you want to have sex? He's like, what was that? and that, and that was another one. I was just like, oh, he doesn't know what that is. That is interesting. I was like,
yeah,
but he's not from the vaults, so you don't know what
Nope.
Apparently, he didn't know anything about that.
Well, and it's the Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah. So I don't think there were any women in. Yeah, it was definitely no women in there for him to be enjoying.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So we obviously think that this show is pretty good, but there's some bad stuff in here. Well, I don't know about bad stuff, but there may have been some things that we could look apart of the series and be like, maybe we didn't need that, or maybe not. I don't know. What did you think? Like, was there anything that you were against in here? I did think that it was weird that one guy that gave Thaddeus the ghoul vaccination, so to speak.
The doctor?
The hack. Yeah. He was weird. He was doing weird things to the chickens. That's why he was getting beat up from that one guy that Maximus saved. Maximus saved him a little bit. And wait, he needed a core, right? They needed a core. That's what Thaddeus sold. Uh-huh. He was like, I have this core here. And I was just like, Thaddeus. But then I remembered now why he did what he did. I know why he turned into a ghoul. It's because he was dying and he needed to get the information out that Maximus is a traitor, this and that, whatever. But in the whole time, I'm just like, what is going on with Thaddeus? Why would he do such a dumb thing? But then
Thaddeus wasn't smart to begin with. He was dumb.
A lot of these guys are the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe Thaddeus, I was able to kind of understand his character a little bit. He's all like, hey, Titus, there was this one guy, the squire that you're with, Maximus. He was, we we bullied him around a little bit, you know. But before he got there, that was me. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
just, you know, he's like, it's kind of a letdown that he couldn't bully the next newcomers for the
It was
Brotherhood.
like just the
Yeah.
initiation of being the new guy.
hmm And I'm like,
Not that should be condoned.
never.
You know, I'm just no.
However, he wanted, he was just like, he probably was going to stop when there was new blood, right? Because he's like, well, you know,
Probably.
and so I'm just like, huh, that's crazy. Because if he was once the bullied person and then it moved over to Maximus, then but he doesn't get bullied anymore, then yeah, there's definitely a trait. There's a history of abuse amongst the boys. And to be fair, Thaddeus should never have done that. However, they live in the time that they live in. So that's probably a lot better, a lot more attention than most people get today. You know what I mean? And I'll just like, so Thaddeus he didn't get my respect because that's kind of still messed up. However, Maximus also branded Thaddeus as a squire, and I'm all like,
Yeah.
I was like, Maximus, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? And that was another thing. I was like, Maximus is doing all these things, and he's just like, he was being petty, which is, he has the right to that. That Thaddeus guy was making his life a nightmare. So
Yeah.
I'll just say, well, good for him, good riddance. But I'm all like, bro, a brand, and I was like, man, he's gonna hate to find out that he's not a knight. Maximus. I would, for me, the character, I did not like that character. I guess the best part about that character was his drive to wanting to be a knight and what they meant to him as a kid. Other than that, I did not like his character. I was like, oh, Maximus, why do you have such a cool name, but you're so weird? But I'm like, maybe he needs to get beat up more again. But I was like, but he was already bullied. What else can you do to the kid? Jeez. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if I had anything I disliked for the most part, which is pretty interesting because I usually find something. I think if I had any other than the ending, like I said, I'm not a big fan of cliffhangers because they just annoy me. But I'm also not a fan of shows where people keep making mistakes and they blame. Like, did you ever watch Beef?
Beef? Oh no, I didn't watch that. That's the one with Stephen Ewan, right, from Walking Dead.
Yeah, that show. I did. It was a good show, but I didn't like it because there were just two people who kept making mistake over and over and over and over, and they didn't realize like what they were doing was you know the bad things that were happening to them is consequence of the choices that they were making, and it's like this negative feedback oh, it's their fault. So I'm always weary about shows that are like that, and it makes it feel like the show is really long and just dragged
Yeah.
out because, like, okay, you just it doesn't seem like you're learning.
Yeah.
That from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're still doing it. So that kind of show really upsets me. Like I'm just like I don't want to watch this because it's just a waste of my time because you're stupid.
Mhm.
Right. And I do agree. I think Maximus to some degree is that character. Right. He's like, you keep doing the same mistake over and over, and you're like, why is this not working out for me? It's like, brother,
Yeah.
like, what are we talking
I was
about
like,
right
who
now?
does he have to meet? He needs a mentor. You know what I mean? Titus
Yeah.
should have been that.
But like I said, and Titus was just not a
No.
real knight. Like he was just a
Yeah,
coward,
yeah.
right? But I think Maximus kind of started understanding that closer to the end, right? Because then he did go look for her and everything, and all this stuff. So he did kind of redeem himself. But my worry is because now he's gotten the credit for killing Moldiv, right? That he'll become that character again, where he's just like, yeah, I'm the best because and it doesn't really understand that you're only here by chance.
Right.
You didn't kill her. You know that. I mean, he knows that he didn't kill her, but he didn't say anything. So it's like, we'll see how season 2 goes. I do want to watch it because, like I said, I am interested in seeing how the dynamics are going to work, and I'm wondering. Cooper is who I'm really interested in seeing.
Really,
Cooper, like, yeah, because I want to see how his character, the Ghoul, is going to change, or what he's going to do. right?
good.
Especially having Lucy, who is like the complete opposite
Yeah.
of him, right? Cooper being the ghoul just being like at like the point of like I just keep moving forward to live, and Lucy still being optimistic and wanting to believe that there is good in all people. So I wanted to see how if her infectious personality will move into the ghoul. So yeah,
You know,
we'll see what happens.
that's a good way to put it on learning his character, because he was my favorite character in the series because of how versatile he was. Although he was kind of hostile, I mean, knowing his past, it makes sense. You know, it makes sense as to why this man is literally senile, or not senile, cynical.
Sane? Oh,
Cynical.
cynical.
He's a very cynical dude.
Yeah.
You know, he
Oh,
only believes
definitely.
in himself, which is, like I said, it makes sense.
200 years.
200 years of that, and having to stay on drugs, a little.
And being a ghoul, I mean, nobody wants
Yeah.
schools. Like everybody
Yeah,
hates schools,
yeah.
right? Everybody
Nobody wants to go to
worry
school.
about them.
I mean, ghoul.
Honorable shout out as well. Like, how could we forget the dog? The dog was
Oh yeah,
he was a loyal dog to the
Mhm.
doctor the whole time. He followed his head around after he was dead. Like that dog. I know. My wife was super happy that the dog never died because she would have been super upset
Mhm.
if he ended up dying.
I thought he was.
but
I
that
thought the
dog
dog was gone.
Oh, so did I. I was expecting
Yeah.
the dog to die at some point, but he never did. He kept coming out of it.
Mhm.
So I shout out to the dog. I forgot the dog's name.
And so
Scooby.
Scooby, was it that Scooby?
I don't know. I just gave him that name.
So remember how you were saying that you were going to be looking out for Cooper's character? I am on a lookout. I can't wait to see more of Norm's character, Norm the brother, because he found
Norm is pretty cool
31
too.
when he found Vault 31, and he found the
he's
Cairo
stuck in there.
something. Cairo.
The brain thingy. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, yeah, he found that there, but that wasn't what he discovered. He discovered everybody in cryotherapy or whatever.
I almost had it. Yeah,
Cryostasis, yeah, and everybody's in their own like pods. And then I'm like, wait a minute,
true.
Are these guys clones? I'm like, who's sleeping? I'm like, what is going on? And so, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And Norm would probably be my second favorite character, or maybe my third, because I did like Lucy a lot. But Norm isn't like when I said earlier he wasn't stupid. It's not that I'm saying he's hella smart. What I was saying is that he is highly intelligent, but he's lazy about it. And I'm a big fan of lazy geniuses, similar to like Shikamaru from Naruto, or the main guy character in Hyoka, or if you watched Alderman in the Sky, Ikta Solork, like he's another genius on a lazy level. You know, like these characters are like cream of the crop characters for against villains of like I guess really crazy experiments or really bad crimes that they did. Like lazy geniuses are literally their bane, their kryptonite.
Yeah,
because these guys, these lazy geniuses, get rid of people like that, like as if they're just drinking a soda on the side of the road. Like that's what I like about it. So I'm hoping Norm is kind of that character. I don't think he's gonna go that route because it's not like he's the overseer. Because remember they made that old lady the overseer, which she was previously the overseer, I think, prior to. However, he was breaking down these puzzles in the vault, meaning that Lucy could have done it all in the vault. She could have figured everything out without having to really leave. And not only did, what's his name? Norm helped, but what was the cousin's name?
The cousin?
Lucy's cousin?
I can't remember.
And they did cousin stuff.
I can't remember his name. Hey,
so
wait, when all you have is your cousin. I don't know. I guess that's all you can do.
And then the cousin ends up with the best friend in the end, right? And they're gonna
who who is also
from
from Vault
32. Yeah, that's right. Right.
32.
You're right. And she knows what's going on. At least with the 3 vaults, there's always that one person that finds out. I'm sorry, but this show was really
Well, she's from Vault 31.
31. Oh yeah,
Vault
yeah.
31. Technically, they're from Vault 31. The overseer
Oh,
and the blonde
the blonde friend,
eye
the
patch
pregnant
best
woman.
friend. Yeah, they're all from Vault
Mm-hmm.
31 technically.
Mhm.
I can't remember if when they transferred from 31 or they transferred from 32.
They transferred to
pretending
32
that they're from
33. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
So, and that was another thing too. So when they were doing, so we're gonna send people from 33 to 32 in the new vault, and everything was clean. You remember? Everything was
Yep.
clean. Everything was redone. I was just like, what? I was just like, yo, this is trippy. And the cousin, Lucy's cousin, knew that this is not what it looked like a couple days ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he was with Norm when they explored
Exactly.
32.
And
he knows something's up, but he unlike Norm, he's putting his head in
Yeah,
the sand. He's like,
Mhm.
I don't want to know what's happening.
yeah, and to be honest, Norm's character could die. Although I call him the lazy genius, doesn't mean that there's other geniuses on the bad guy side. So he could die from these people that's been doing it for years. Who knows? It's been 200 years, right?
Yep. Yep.
So I am looking forward to Norm's growth in the next couple seasons. Hopefully, there's about 4 seasons at minimum, because I really like this show. I think 8 episodes was probably whack about it. As far as the Easter eggs go, I think seeing Vegas was a big one, being as there's a Fallout Vegas game, and I might have to go get that. I don't know, maybe.
Is that where they ended up at the end?
Yeah, Hank.
And there was like a little city in the center.
Yeah, Hank like reaches over the hill, and then he's like, and Vegas.
I think I remember seeing that, and not to sound, when people from that place look at stuff and they're like, that's not right.
Yeah.
I was like looking at it, it's like, wow, those mountains are really close to the city. Our mountains are not that. We have a bigger valley than that. That's not right.
I was like, where is that? I was like, did Vegas get bombed? Because that's a nice area. Yeah, no. And to see Vegas like there, I'm like, does that mean that the series is going to come? I was like, I don't know if the series is following a storyline from the game, or it's its own storyline. Because if it's its own storyline, then I don't know.
I think it's its own storyline. I don't think it's a storyline from the game.
Shucks.
Yeah. I don't think it, and I think that's smarter, because if you play a character from a game and you're making it a TV show, think of Halo. Halo is a great example. I'm a huge Halo fan. Like Halo, on the other hand, I can tell you so much about Halo. But like when Master Chief took off his helmet in the show, I guarantee you that every Halo fan was just sitting there going, "And why did you do that?" Because he never takes off his helmet in the game. Every time he does take off his helmet, you don't see his face. It pans away. It does not show you his face. So for him to take it off, I think it was like the first episode or the second episode, everybody was like, no. So I think it's genius. I'm pretty sure the Fallout is not following a game character. It's its own story in that universe. And I think it's a safer and more genius way of doing it. Because the same thing with what was the other game that came out? The
Fallout game?
No. The other, we did a review of it more than a couple months ago. It's based off of the PlayStation game
The Last of Us?
Something Us. The Last of Us, right? Like, so I know that game, they did a great job with that show, but I'm pretty sure there are people who are like, oh, but that's not right and this is not right. And that, because it's based on the characters and they know the storyline from the game, right? So I think they did a genius job by not following a specific character.
Yeah, because it helps move the game along, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty stoked about what's going to happen next. And
Me too.
Going on as far as what I grade this show, although I talk very highly about this series. Like, there's a lot of cool things about it. Um, because I didn't play the game, I don't know the cool parts about it that should be cool. It just felt like a really nice story. It was pretty well put together. I did not like um Maximus where I should have. um so I'm gonna give this a B, an 80% for this show. However, I would highly recommend people to watch it because it was a good show. But this is just my take on it because there's only really 8 episodes. I never played the game. I know nothing about these characters, and I dislike Maximus, and I don't understand the timelines in the movie or in the series. Like, okay, so Cooper divorced Barb before the drop. However, Sydney, their daughter, is not with Cooper. She is apparently with Barb, and Hank knows where she is, or they are, apparently, according to Cooper.
Right.
So I'm just all like, okay,
Right.
so does that mean that his wife and daughter are also 200 years old? I'm like, is Hank 240 years old or something like that? I was like, what's going on with this time frame? Did this just happen, or was it like maybe 50 years instead of 200? Like, we don't necessarily know. And they could literally have people just born and then teach them that it's been 150 years, and then they would start the timeline from there. Be like, it's actually been 200 years. Like, it's a complete lie, and I don't know yet. And I think that that part being void in my head is probably because I haven't played the game.
Oh, right. Wow.
Finger guns.
I for the rating, I also give it a B. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I have really nothing negative to say. Once again, I didn't play the game, so I don't know like where some of the lure might have fallen short, if there was any lure that fell short. But yeah, no, I thought it was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. Like I said, you get to that point where you're like, oh, please don't keep making the same mistake, because then I'm just watching you do the same thing every episode and learning the same lesson, but you don't seem to learn it. So, but it was enjoyable to answer Iz's questions, if you don't mind me answering. It is 200 years in the future. Hank is 200 years older. So is Barb. Where is the daughter? I don't know if the daughter was in the cryostasis machines. But it is interesting because the bombs did fall and Cooper was with his daughter, but now he's not with his daughter. So where is she at in all of this then? So that is a good question. But yeah, no, definitely Hank is 100. That's 200 plus years old. But he was in stasis. He was in stasis, just like Barb is in stasis right now. Because you do see her name in the when Norm is inside and he sees all the stasis machines. Barb's name shows up.
I didn't know that.
So she is in stasis. Yeah. Same thing with the overseer of 33, the woman who became the overseer. She was also from that time period. Everybody in 31 is from 200 years ago. They're all in stasis. They're all part of Voltec.
Oh snap! I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm,
I got a lip piece.
I have a lip too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So just I figured I'd let you know that before people like roast you in the comments, just in case you missed it.
Please don't roast me.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna wrap up this episode. Don't forget to follow us on IG, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. You can also catch us on YouTube, where all of our content is at. Also, please leave a review, as it will help us grow with our podcast. Join our community on Discord. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. And don't forget to turn it to 11.